funeral directors are trained to lead a family through the process of the decision making, and as I said, there's a lot of those to be made. And so, hopefully a good funeral director is going to guide that family and not leave too many questions to be asked. But, it's always important to ask, enough questions to know that what you're getting and what you're paying for and what your options are. Because I think in today's market and in today's way of doing funerals, there's a lot more options than there used to be. There's really 4 primary costs involved in funeral arrangements. There's the service charges, which is the funeral home's charges for those services that the family's going to select. And that would be from the point of death all the way through the conclusion of the services. And so there's a lot of variations to that. The second cost would be the cost of a casket. And again, that's a wide range. It's going to be up to a family as to what they can afford and what's appropriate and what they think is appropriate. The third charge would be cemetery expenses. Some cemeteries require an outer container or a vault, and they will have what's called an opening and closing charge. Most cemeteries do, and that's a charge to prepare the grave and those type of things. So that would be the third expense. And then the fourth is what we call third-party expenses or cash advance items, not necessarily funeral home expenses, but things that the family is going to incur when arranging for funeral services for a loved one. And that would be the obituary charge at the newspaper, flowers, death certificates that they'll need to finalize some of the estate, situations. Anything with the church that they may be having a service with the minister or musicians. So these we call third-party expenses, and that can be a wide range of things. But really, those 4 costs, and as far as what that cost is, it just depends. The biggest decision that families today have to make when they get ready to make arrangements at the time of somebody's passing is deciding on whether they're going to choose cremation or choose traditional burials. And we hope and we encourage people on a daily basis that they've had that conversation with their families ahead of time. It's so important to record those important details for your family. Where do you want your service to be held? Are you a member of a church, and is that important and appropriate to have your service there, or at the funeral home, or maybe at the cemetery? Questions like what type of music and information that the family would need for an obituary. People don't realize how many questions that there are to be answered at the time.